From LeBron's three-point shooting to his elite playmaking, here's what makes LeBron James so much better than Michael Jordan. Starting with why people side with one more than the other. Michael Jordan's the best NBA player, or is he? If you ask a basketball fan who the best player is, and if they say Jordan, try asking them the reason. I bet you they'll bring up Jordan's perfect championship record. Yeah, he took the Bulls into the NBA Finals 6 times throughout his career, and won all 6 times. But does it really make him the best player ever? Not really. LeBron James has competed in a total of 10 NBA Finals throughout his career. He's won 4 of them, and that's not even half. But that's not my point here. My point is that everyone's holding the wrong thing against him. Fans say that because LeBron lost more championships than he's won, Michael is better. But would it actually have been better if he didn't make it to the finals all those times he lost and had a perfect score instead? You tell me what's better, making it to the playoffs and losing, or getting eliminated in the playoffs? Yeah, the answer is pretty simple. Making it to the NBA Finals isn't a piece of cake, and King James has done it 10 times. Plus, LeBron's always faced tougher competition in the finals. I mean, he literally had to go through the big 3 Spurs in 2007. And then in 2017 and 2018, he was up against the literal Avengers as Steph, Klay, and KD were just an unfair trio. But this is just the start of my list of why he's better than Jordan. There are way more arguments for why James should be ranked ahead of him. After all, James is a better shooter. Don't get me wrong. Both James and Jordan are 2 of the best players in the history of the league. They both have different styles, have played in different eras, and had their own obstacles to overcome along the way. LeBron was also highly inspired by Jordan. He studied his style, and even wore the exact same shoes as him. I'm sure becoming better than his idol wasn't on his list, but he did become better. James is a better shooter, and this isn't even arguable. If I talk about staying inside the three-point line, James has shot over 54% in his career, whereas Jordan was around 51%. Now, it's true that MJ had to face way tougher defense since defenders could hand-check him. But I can't forget that teams couldn't play zone defense against him either. Now, if I talk about their shooting from beyond the arc, even the biggest Michael Jordan fans can't defend him on this. Jordan shot 32% from downtown on 1.7 attempts per game. James, on the other hand, has been over 34% on 4.0 attempts per game in his career. And that's pretty darn impressive to say the least. It's worth mentioning that the NBA moved the line to 22 feet during the 1995, 1996, and 1997 seasons, which helped Jordan score more. So undoubtedly, James is the better shooter here, and you can argue with a wall if you think otherwise. But it's not just his shooting that's better than MJ's. LeBron is one of the greatest at dishing out dimes. And while MJ wasn't too bad at this either, King James takes the cake. I mean, the dude's been averaging over 7 assists for his entire career. His airness, on the other hand, just averaged 5.3. The most impressive part about this is the fact that MJ's sample size of games is way less than LeBron's. Yet James still has a higher assist per game average. Plus, when it comes to being able to make flashy passes on a consistent basis, the 4-time champ is leagues ahead of Jordan. When it comes to passing, he can get off a 40-mile-an-hour dart in under 0.2 of a second. Not only this, but his defense often leads to wins. LeBron James is a better defensive player. Look, I know that Jordan's defensive accomplishments speaks for themselves, but being with the Bulls, Jordan was never really given the toughest defensive assignments. He had Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman for those. King James can defend all 5 positions, and he can do it very well. Another thing that should be mentioned is that James can stuff that stat sheet way better than Jordan. James's quickness is unmatched. The average player can cover the length of the court with 13 strides, but LeBron can do it with just 9. And his block on Andre Iguodala is the perfect example of this. He's been clocked at over 20 miles per hour. James could secretly be the Flash and no one would know. So yes, Jordan's great, but the NBA has seen very few like James. At this point, do I even need more reasons to prove that LeBron is better? Well, I don't, but sit tight because I've got a few more. LeBron has better leadership skills than Michael. Being the GOAT isn't just about being the best in the game. You need to be an all-rounder for that. James has made everyone around him a better player. I mean, he's managed to win trophies for every team he's ever played for. Jordan, on the other hand, was a little selfish and a follow-me-or-get-out-of-the-way kind of guy. If I had to pick, I'll take the guy who's making everyone around him better. I'm sure LeBron's back hurts after carrying the Cavs for years and years. LeBron's just different from Michael. Most people would never consider the late Kobe Bryant to be equal to or better than Jordan. Why? Well, because he was just too similar to him. James, on the other hand, is far too different from MJ. His gifts are far more diverse than just scoring. His vision on the court is just on some other level. I mean, he made it to the NBA Finals 8 times straight in a row, while MJ only made it 3 times in a row. Not only is he dominating skills and stats, but James also broke a record that Jordan couldn't. LeBron James broke Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's NBA record. Jordan never tried to break the all-time scoring record held by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. When he retired, he was roughly 6,000 points behind Abdul-Jabbar. But James had the drive to be the greatest. Not only did he break the record, but he's going to add more points to it and make it virtually unbreakable. That's GOAT behavior at its peak. And his all-star appearances add the cherry on top. James also has more all-star appearances than Jordan. Ever since his rookie season in 2003, he's made 19 appearances. Now compare that to Jordan, who had 14 all-star appearances. And it's worth mentioning that Jordan had too much support, thanks to all the A-star players on his team. A team is what makes and breaks a basketball game. And for James to not have the greatest team at times, but still do what he's done, it's legendary. He's an all-rounder. There's nothing he can't achieve on the court. He's also a hometown hero who won a ring for the town he grew up in. James adds value to whatever team he's in. I'm not saying that Jordan didn't, but LeBron adds even more. And again, MJ played in a much different era. The roster back in the day was filled with big men, but not all of them were just as skilled. Today's athletes are much better physically, and James is still reigning. James and Jordan are both legends, and the point of this video was never to call one of them a bad player. But only one can be the best, and that's unarguably James. See you in the next video.